Hi, I'm Mark, and today on the Outside Views Midday Devolution video, I want to talk about Northern Ireland. In February, a police officer was shot by several masked men after a soccer practice session with children in Omagh. Charges have now been brought against those perpetrators. So these 7 men have been charged with attempted murder after a failed assassination attempt on a police officer in Northern Ireland. As the police in Northern Ireland announced on Saturday evening, 2 of the men, aged 38 and 45, are also charged with membership of a banned organization, namely the IRA. 3 of the men, aged 28, 33 and 47, are also accused of preparing a terrorist act. The last 2 men are 28 and 72 years old. The victim was shot by several masked men after a soccer training session with children in Omagh in February. The attempted assassination just before the 25th anniversary of the Good Friday Agreement caused great horror in Northern Ireland, but also far beyond. The man whose son witnessed the incident was initially in critical condition in hospital, but later recovered, fortunately. The accused were due to appear before a judge on Monday. They were arrested on Friday along with 2 other men and 2 women under anti-terrorism legislation in the towns of Omagh and Colesland. The other 4 suspects were later released. Investigators had suggested early on that the new IRA might have played quite a role in the assassination. The new IRA is a coalition of splinter groups from the paramilitary IRA, the Irish Republican Army, which fought to unite Northern Ireland with the Republic of Ireland during decades of civil war. At the end of the 1990s, the IRA laid down its arms and peace was concluded in the Good Friday Agreement. But some militants remained active, including on the side of Protestant supporters of the union with Great Britain. The splinter groups are linked to organized crime today, though. Following the ceasefire and subsequent decommissioning of weapons by the Irish Republican Army in 2005, a number of splinter groups emerged. These splinter groups rejected the peace process and continued to engage in paramilitary activities primarily in Northern Ireland. And there are a few notable IRA splinter groups. The real IRA was formed in 1997 by dissident members who opposed the IRA's decision to engage in the peace process. It has been involved in various attacks, including bombings and shootings. The group's most notable attack was the Omagh bombing in 1998, which resulted in the death of 29 people. And the Continuity IRA originated in 1986 as a result of a split within the Provisional IRA. It rejected the IRA's decision to enter into the peace process and continued to pursue armed struggle against British rule. The group has been involved in sporadic attacks, mainly in Northern Ireland. And the Volunteers of Ireland, I cannot pronounce their Irish name, is another dissident Republican group that emerged in 2009. It's an amalgamation of several smaller groups and aimed to continue to the armed campaign against British rule. And they have claimed responsibility for a number of attacks in the years after. The new IRA is a dissident group that emerged in 2012 following the merger of various smaller factions, including the real IRA. It seeks to bring together dissident Republicans and continue the armed struggle against British rule. The group has been responsible for a number of attacks, including the killing of a journalist, that was Lyra McKee in 2019. It's important to note that these splinter groups are considered illegal organizations and their activities are condemned by both the UK and Irish governments, as well as by mainstream political parties in Northern Ireland. The majority of people in Northern Ireland support the peace process and reject violence as a means of achieving political goals. And I'll see you in my next video. I'll be back.